Howdy and welcome back to the podcast. I am going to do my best to not talk very much today because I'm still dealing with this kind of not so fun cough. So today we have our returning guest, Miss Priya. And so, hello, Miss Priya. How are you?
Hello, Ben. Good. How about you?
I am doing all right.
On the mend up.
On the mend up, exactly. So last time we came and we talked, we learned that you are a pediatric PT who also helps also train kind of the mom and figure out how they do things. And so if you're interested in that podcast, you guys can go look at that one. And so now you are going to be a mom.
Yes, I am 6 months pregnant now, which is crazy because I've been a PT with babies for the last 7 years. So to have my own baby now, I'm like, this is so wild and amazing. Yeah.
So what's the process been like from deciding I want to be a mom?
Mhm.
And then what does it look like from a PT's perspective or a mom's perspective? Like, all right, now we're first trimester. What does it look like?
Yeah. Amazing question. So I've always wanted to be a mom. I think I've always loved babies. That's why I went into pediatric PT. And so I knew this was going to be at some point in my journey happening. But I will say the actual process of being a pregnant person, there's so many things I did not anticipate. I knew everyone says first trimester, you get really tired, sick, nauseous. But I have always been a person that likes to move and go and just stay active. And so to be literally tied to my couch for 8 weeks straight, I was like, this is not the lifestyle that I'm trying to live right now.
Yeah.
I still want to be pregnant. I love being I love knowing that my baby's coming and we're so excited, but the changes that a woman goes through, you just can't anticipate it in pregnancy. Even if you read all the stuff and you talk to so many different moms. I've talked to so many moms at this point, and every mom's story is so different. It's so crazy. So you just have to go through your own experience with it. And yeah, I think that's been the craziest change for me. So even as a pediatric PT, I still will move. I've actually gotten a little more interested in pelvic floor PT and how I can help myself there. Just because we were kind of talking about this before, but there's just not a lot of supports for the female body to understand what's happening during pregnancy. And then you even just think about there's the menstrual phase, and then if you choose to get pregnant, there's a whole new change from that. And then we also eventually will go through perimenopause, menopause, and I'm straight up and not educated on that part of life eventually. I will be eventually, but there's not really a ton of systems in place to make that super easy for you as a woman to understand. So that's been the biggest learning point of all of this.
So what were the biggest changes that you experienced when you first, what were the most apparent changes you experienced?
The first trimester is crazy. I was like, why does any woman get pregnant? For me, it was this major fatigue. So it was a full body fatigue. It's a little hard to explain, but in your body, I was just so tired. And I was like, there's no reason for me to be this tired right now. I have slept well. I have eaten fine. I drink water. But you can't get away from it. It's just what it is. I've been very lucky where I haven't thrown up. I definitely had the food aversions. So either there wasn't even a particular food, but anytime I ate food, I was like, this is not going to work, which is also kind of funny because in the first trimester, that's when the baby is completely made. All the spinal cord, the brain, all the muscles and bones, everything is being formed. And now I'm in second trimester and the baby's just kind of growing, she's just getting bigger. But I'm but I didn't want to eat anything but Taco Bell during the first trimester. I'm my baby's made off of Taco Bell right now. And so now I'm able to eat a lot more and do stuff, but that not being able to eat was a little bit hard too. Oh my gosh. Okay. Before pregnancy, I had a matcha addiction. I love matcha. After I got pregnant, I don't know. It just does not taste good. Yeah. It was very sad for me because I literally went to Japan 2 months before we got pregnant and brought back all this matcha.
Oh, no.
I can't I can't do anything with it now.
That's funny.
But maybe they'll come back like after the baby's here.
Do things end up coming back typically?
I've heard that. I
Okay.
don't know I'll let you know. I don't know the
Okay,
experience
yeah,
yet, but
sure.
from what other moms have told me, I'm like, thank God, because I miss matcha. I just miss like the experience of making a matcha and drinking it. So hopefully.
So, how conscious were you of eating like specific things in order to feed are you taking supplements? And if so, what are you taking and what is typically necessary during that time? Because it's pulling so much nutrients from you,
Right.
requiring the development of this whole other person.
Right.
What do you do?
Right.
What do you take?
Prenatals. Prenatals are just the way to go because like I really would have. It's funny, like before you get pregnant, you're like, I'm gonna do all these things to make sure the baby's good. And then when you're pregnant, you're like, I'm so out of it. I'm so tired. Like I could try to like go make this like healthy meal and like my husband's great and he would make meals for me all the time. But like even when he made them, I couldn't eat them. So like I was like, what is this? So the prenatals are like if you take that daily, you're gonna get all the nutrients for the baby that you need. But that you just have to be like meticulous if you know you're not getting it from food. But you're right, like the baby does just like suck everything from you if you're not feeding your body that way to help the baby. So yeah, prenatals were like my best friend. And then I tried to eat, but like
Just not
it's
interesting.
not working. Yeah. When did that stop? I want to say that stopped because it started like week 7, 8, and then I want to say it stopped week 16 sounds right. Yeah, it was like 8 weeks of that.
Damn.
I know.
That's
But, like,
rough.
the things women do to populate this earth, like
It's insane.
it's insane.
It's a superpower.
Yes, and I'm like, dude, I joke with Zach, my husband, all the time of like, because like we'll watch football, and I'm like, if half of this money could just get siphoned over to moms in their pregnant year, and then like the first year after the baby's here, everyone would be happy. Everyone would get to watch their football, but also moms could just like take care of their bodies and deal with the craziness of the changes of pregnancy.
So you talked about the I want to learn more about the support, I guess, in the community. But I also, because you mentioned pelvic floor PT, what are the necessary things that you should be looking at when you are looking at pelvic floor PT, and why is it important?
Yeah. So depending on the person. So like a lot of people, especially in like the way we live in our society, obviously are stressed. When you're stressed, you tighten your tummy a little bit. The pelvic floor is at the bottom of your core. So like if you have your stomach muscles, your abs in the front, and then you have your back muscles in the back, the pelvic floor is like that bottom. I think people forget about that pelvic floor and that gets tightened every time you tighten everything in your core. And so a lot of women, it's funny because I think they teach people to do Kegels a lot. But I actually, from my experience and just like talking to other moms, you're supposed to relax those pelvic floor muscles, especially like when you're giving birth, like to be able to coordinate the movement of like, and this honestly, I'm still learning a little bit more. So hopefully I explain it as best as I can. But like when you're literally pushing baby out, you should be kind of relaxing. So the baby just kind of naturally comes out.
Damn, that's going to be tough.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting that like we're taught like, oh, like, and you should have a strong pelvic floor, but I think a lot of people already have like a too tightened pelvic floor because they're just naturally stressed. And then when you're pregnant too, there's different hormones that relax all those muscles too, so that will help. But if you don't have the coordination of the pelvic floor muscles, it's just going to be not hard when you do labor or like give birth, but like you're not going to know how to coordinate that. So like everything feels easy. I'm also learning like you could do pelvic floor to prevent tears if you do like a vaginal birth. And I don't know enough about this because like even in PT school, I don't really remember learning like really excessively about the pelvic floor. And then if you wanted to become a pelvic floor PT, you would just go into more training. Kind of similar in how I did pediatrics. But in PT school, we had two classes for just pediatrics. There's nothing for pelvic floor like that. So yeah, that's where like pelvic floor comes in. It's almost like you want to learn to relax, but also more so like go between tightening your pelvic floor with the contractions, I guess, and then relaxing to get the baby out.
So
Yeah.
could I Kegel? And because the Kegeling is the tightening.
Yeah. And that works
And
for men and women because we
I
all
do
have
it.
a pelvic floor. You do
Yeah,
it?
I've been Kegling for years. Yeah, I
Amazing.
remember in college I learned because of powerlifting was what was I'm under so much load.
Yes.
If you think about doing like a Kegel in the middle of your squat, you have a more a stronger foundation in your core, and so you can squat a little bit better, and you feel more comfortable at the bottom of the hole, and you're safer, especially with like 700 pounds squatting a lot.
Yeah.
Like I got to really make sure that I'm safe,
Yeah.
and so I've been, and then also there is the long term benefit of, unfortunately, as we get older, we're more likely to have less control or some leakage whenever we have when we go pee.
Yeah.
And so I knew that I don't want to be 67 years old and have this unfortunate weak pelvic floor that ultimately can't control my urine.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to make sure that I was doing something earlier on to help do that preventatively.
Awesome.
It's very useful for men and women.
Yes.
I'm wondering, if I'm Kegling, does once I do my rep and then I relax, is that good enough to teach somebody to relax whenever they're in pregnancy?
Yeah. I think you do have to do it depends on every person, but you do have to do specific exercises because like you're moving through the tightening, and then if you really don't know how to relax, like I know I also did like 1 day of pediatric pelvic floor PT. The visual, it's like for kids who aren't toileting or having trouble going to the bathroom. And like I think a visual she used was like, imagine that like you're letting go of a blueberry, but you don't want to squish the blueberry like in that area, but you also don't want to like let go entirely that the blueberry just falls out. And so like finding that balance is interesting.
Interesting.
I know. And then the way they did it for kids, which I think this would be good for anybody, but they had this little like biofeedback game. And so they put electrodes in the area, like in that pelvic floor area. And then they'd tell the kid like, oh, like it was like a rocket ship. And if you squeezed too much, it would go too high and you couldn't collect the points as it was going across. But then if you didn't squeeze enough, it would just stay on the ground. So it like gave them that biofeedback to know how much to squeeze.
How interesting.
I know. It was so cool. I was like, this is genius. But like you could do that as an adult too, like with biofeedback as well.
I wonder if that's commercially available. I wonder if it could be available like at home for consumers.
I know.
For like a month.
I don't know, but that would be genius because I feel like the only way to really tell is going to a pelvic floor PT and having them. You need someone to provide that feedback because it's not a normal area that's talked about. A lot of people feel kind of funny about it. So like, it's almost like we avoid that area. That's why I'm so impressed that like you already did this with powerlifting so you could keep yourself safe as you lifted these crazy heavy weights. That makes sense. So in the powerlifting community, is pelvic floor health very looked at and like worked on?
Over the last, I would say, couple years, it's definitely grown in popularity.
Okay.
But I think that like we automatically associate just like diaphragmatic breathing with like engagement of the pelvic floor, but very different. Like, I mean, if I could be in the middle of a squat and breathe out against my belt, and that's my feedback, and then I can also Kegel, and they're two very different movements.
That you're coordinating at the same time, different places in your body.
And so I think, unfortunately, maybe not as talked about as much, but definitely more in the last several years, which I think is important. And especially, like, I think, for better or worse, you see a lot of women that are deadlifting that end up like peeing in the middle of a deadlift. It happens a lot. And so I think that brought some awareness, be like, why is she peeing on the platform? and how can we prevent it, right? Or what does it mean? And so I think I think the women have kind of led that conversation and brought some interest from just both men and women.
That's so cool. I had no idea that was a part of the powerlifting community too, and I'm really happy to hear it, because like I look at it more from like that like when you're pregnant sense kind of thing. So I just think that's awesome.
I've been coaching that for a long time. Whenever I have athletes, like a new client even, and it's always like a weird conversation. Like, so have you ever stopped your pee? And you're like, yeah. It's like, okay, I want you to end up doing that same thing while you're squatting. And then they're always like, that's weird. Like, and then also then especially if it's a lady, it's like, we want to make sure that whenever you're 60, also the same thing. Like, I want you to be able to jump, and I want you to, like, oh, you've had a kid. Like, we have to make sure that we're working those muscles. Like, we had a lot of stretch down there. Like, we got to make sure that we're still strengthening that area as well.
And it is just like your biceps a muscle. Like, it's just a muscle down there. For whatever reason, society's like, I'm so scared of down there. But like, I'm glad. Like, I like the analogy of like when you're 60, like we want to make sure we keep those muscles strong. So like you're not peeing or having incontinence when you're older. Like, I feel like that helps people understand this is very important, actually.
I think it's really important. And then especially if you've had a kid, like our body's changed.
Right.
Like, so then from what you understand so far, what happens to the pelvic floor whenever we do go through birth?
Say that one more time.
What happens to the pelvic floor?
Oh, yeah.
After birth.
Yeah. It depends on if you have tears, right? Like, so like you literally have tears in that area. And then I think like that's when you start to rebuild again. And mind you, this is like me still learning. Pediatrics, I'm like all day I can go, but I'm surprised at how much I don't know about that pelvic floor as much. But from my understanding, because you had that relaxant, like lengthen out those muscles, you've just pushed out a baby. Now we're like slowly rebuilding that pelvic floor, so you're preventing any incontinence and things like that. So I think that strengthening phase is going to come too. From my understanding, it's almost like you want to work on coordination in this pregnancy time, and then after you've given birth, then you're strengthening again. Okay. Because depending on what you have, like if you have leakage or if you have pain, I think sensory, just working on the sensation down there is also important during pregnancy, because it's like you're preparing for literally a baby to come out of there. And so I don't know how that works after pregnancy though. Like is it like, that's a good question.
We're gonna have you back on as the vitamin soon.
Yes, we definitely should. Yeah, because I definitely will have that embodied more. Because I'm like, now that you're asking this, I'm like, so like, will my sensation be kind of gone, or will I feel
it is a thing?
Yeah.
I've heard both of those realities.
Okay, yeah.
So I wonder.
And then how do you prep so that you're keeping your sensation like just intact, I guess? Oh, I'm gonna look into that too. But yeah, definitely I'll come over after the baby is here and then we'll go over this stuff too.
Yeah.
So good.
So I don't know if this is, I know we're still talking more about pelvic floor, but like if you do get I'm going to forget the word, a spinal tap. What is it called?
Oh, the epidural.
The epidural.
Yeah.
So if I get an epidural, I did all this work during my pregnancy.
Yeah.
To gain some function and to understand, and then now I can't feel.
Yes. Yeah.
What do I do?
Now I know. I'm like, I literally think about that too, because I know you feel like a pressure supposedly.
Okay.
But, and my OBGYN said like I should be able to go onto like hands and knees or on my side, like with a peanut ball. Because like, so the other thing is most of the time when you give birth, you're on your back, but it doesn't let you open up the pelvic outlet to make it easier for the baby to come out. So like in the easiest ways to say this, it's like you're putting yourself in a position that is closing off like the area that the baby needs to come out, and you can move into different positions to open up that pelvic outlet. So
how cool.
I know. And I'm like just learning this. So like hands and knees is a great position for that. And then also like side lying over a peanut ball. But again,
what is a peanut ball?
I wish I could show you a picture of it, but it's like like a yoga ball.
Yeah.
It's basically that, but it's shaped like a peanut.
So kind of like a peanut, like for the spine, where people do mobilization for the spine.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. But it's like a yoga ball.
Oh, it's
So
huge.
it's big. It's gonna be big. I use it a lot for my pediatric PT, but
It's all with like all the pictures of the kids.
yeah, they're all exactly. I use it all the time for kids. I didn't realize you use it when you can give birth, but that will be another question we have to go over after I have the baby, because even in my mind, I'm like who's gonna hold my legs up if I can't feel my legs because I kind of want the epidural because I can naturally get stressed out easily.
Yeah.
Having a baby, I feel like you have to learn how to breathe through discomfort and keep your body calm through not just discomfort, but discomfort over many hours. Some people have labor for 36 hours for your first baby. So to be able to do that and not be stressed the whole time, I'm I just know myself. I get so tired so quickly. So I'm okay, give me the epidural. Well, that's fine because I'll be less stressed because I won't have pain. But then I'm oh no, now I'm gonna take out my ability to do hands and knees. But my OBGYN said they would. I'll let you know what happens actually. But she told me that the nurses can come help to help turn me and put me into a hands and knees position. And I'd still have my arm strength.
Yeah.
And I guess up to a certain point, my stomach strength. I don't really know when it stops.
When the position ends.
I should ask that too. But I could pull myself up over the peanut ball, and then they would just help me with the legs kind of thing. So that would be my plan with the epidural. But you're right. You've done all this workouts, strengthening your glutes, strengthening your core, coordinating your pelvic floor. But if you can't have the biofeedback to tell you what you're feeling, how are you going to do that? But then also say you don't take the epidural, you're going to be in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to also know, now that you're saying that, you're going to have to coordinate those movements through a lot of pain. Yeah. And discomfort. Oh, dude, how women give birth? I'm still amazed by us all. I'm how are they doing that?
You're growing a thing and then letting this thing come out of you, and then that's just that piece of it. And then you have to have the care for it for the next.
Oh yeah.
Well, and I understand for the rest of its life, but those first year, I have a client who just had her first kid. Well, not just, but it's been about 2 years. She's a doctor, and so she's more educated. But even then, she's stressed and what do we do? And then how do you make sure that the baby's talking in the right amount of time, and then walking, and so you have all these stressors even afterwards. It's just so amazing that women have kids.
I know.
And multiple.
I think it's important to have a good support system too, because when that's all on you, dude, it's so hard. I feel because I've worked with so many moms too at this point, I'm there's just so much worry about all these little things. And and I get that too, but I'm also a lot of times the kids are going to be okay unless something crazy is happening. But I also get why it's so easy to worry. And then that takes away from you caring for yourself too. So yeah, no, it's a lot. It's totally a lot.
Do you think that you've done a good job of taking care of yourself during this process?
I do. I've had a beautiful self-healing journey for the last 4 or 5 years, and I think that is going to make me a great mom. I feel like I've seen, and again, I think this is also a societal thing, but I've seen moms so much put all of their time and energy into the kid. Not to say you can't, they're your kid. They also developmentally need you, but I think it's, if you pour into yourself, then your kid sees that, and then they know how to do that because you've modeled it to them. And I think that's super important. I think it's actually important for women to be selfish, as even moms specifically, to be kind of very selfish, because your mind as a mom, you will always think about your kid. There's no I'm not going to think about my kid kind of thing, depending on the kind of mom you are.
Sure.
I have worked with foster families where that's not the case. But typically you will be thinking about your kid. You don't have to you don't have to think that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So if you can also, but in society, women are not trained to think about themselves first. we're always taught like, oh, think about
Care
your
the others.
yeah, take care of the others, nurture others. Like that's just ingrained. So I'm not really worried that a mom can't do that. But I am always worried, like, are you going to lose yourself in motherhood? Because you don't deserve that. Like you deserve to have everything you want in life. And just because you had a kid doesn't mean now we have to poo-poo everything you are. Like, and I think that's so important. And so my self healing journey has kind of taught me that. And so now I'm like, this is like the next level of like, okay, I'm going to have this baby. How am I going to make sure I continue that healing journey and really care for myself with this baby that needs me too, you know? But I want all moms to like, they just realize like, dude, we're so important. Like literally populating the earth. Like, how do we not realize like that's like the most important thing? Like none of us would be here without a woman who birthed us. Like we have to like think we're just the best because we are. And then start being selfish a little bit with that.
I don't know that I could have a baby. I don't know that I could be a lady and then like be a mom. That just seems rather stressful.
Well, two things. I think it's stressful, but I also think the systems in place don't support it. Don't support moms to make that not stressful. I saw a TikTok the other day and it was this lady, this couple. I think her husband bought her this thing. It was like a postpartum retreat. 2.5K a night, and she's in this beautiful hotel, and like she's just being pampered. Like there's all these people pampering her, and I was like, I'd be pregnant all day if I could just do this postpartum retreat. Like
that sounds real nice.
Yeah, it sounds great. And then obviously like that's crazy expensive. Like most average Americans are not gonna be able to do that. But in Korea, they have more facilities that are just like systems in place so that women go to these facilities, get their nutrition for breastfeeding in, and just like they're taken care of there. Like I just think it would be so much less stressful if women were actually so much more valued and then systems were in place to like help them through these stages.
I wish it was easier to reduce stress. I think it'd be nice if it was not so expensive. Right?
The postpartum care kind of thing?
Even having a child, like going to the, because then it's a thing that that somebody thinks about whenever they're even getting ready to have a child. And it's not always, but sometimes it's that hospital bill just to go in and have a child.
Yeah.
I talked to somebody who's like, with insurance, they paid $45,000.
What?
After insurance. It was, I forget what state it was, but he was like, it's really expensive, like in the state. And so it's a necessary thing for the existence of our human race.
Yeah.
And yet there's still
there's a barrier.
There's a weird barrier that I don't really think should exist.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Wow, $45,000. My friend told me she just had her baby like a month ago. And she said for a one hospital stay, it's $20,000 for the mom and then $10,000, I think, for the kid. And insurance did pay into that. But I'm like, yeah, it is, especially now in society. There's a reason a lot of people are not having babies right now, too. Like, that has always been a goal of mine. But, like, if it wasn't a goal of mine, no, why would you bring a kid here? Like, I feel like you have to be very intentional if you want to bring a kid into the world we live in today. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
What kind of movements are you doing now during, like, after, now that you have energy and also you're at the end of second trimester. So are you weight training? Like what kind of stuff are you doing?
Yeah. So I weight trained before pregnancy, and basically doctors tell you like you can kind of do what you did before pregnancy, like during pregnancy, just obviously like watch yourself. But like, for example, I didn't run a ton before pregnancy, so I'm not gonna like start running up right now.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And so, but I will say I do a lot more endurance exercises than I did before. So like 30-minute walks like a day. My goal is like 30 minutes of movement a day, because from what I hear, if you move a lot, then like birth just feels easier. You're less likely to tear. Things just get moving a lot more because your first pregnancy usually is long, like labor is longer supposedly. Although I've met some moms where it's shorter, but and then I do a lot of like glute strengthening, pelvic pelvic floor, for me, relaxing exercises, like just getting my pelvic floor more expanded and open and relaxed, because I'm naturally tight from just stress in general. And then, yeah, it's honestly a lot of glute core, like what's it called? Bird dogs. And then when the dead bugs, like all core, deep transverse abdominis core exercises. And I feel like that's been the most helpful. I also do get tired really quickly compared to before. So what I do with my workouts is very much like, okay, I'm going to do like a TUFA one right now. And I'm going to do like lunges with like a bicep curl and just try to like just get as much out as possible before I'm like, I can't do this anymore. So 30-minute workouts a day have been good for me personally. But like if you don't strength train, I feel like you could go on walks like 30 minutes a day or just do like light weights. Even if you've never done weights before, I just feel like strengthening your core and your glutes before you give birth is the best thing to do.
I don't have as much knowledge on this, but from what I remember, the more that you move and keep yourself healthy, the more likely that those genes will like turn on for your child as well. Epigenetics, right? And so if I'm more likely to be lifting weights and I have more protein synthesis and all these things are going on, then those I can turn on specific genes inside of my own body that ultimately help influence the likelihood of that happening for my child. It's before birth as well as during pregnancy, which I think is super neat.
I think that's so neat. I feel like that makes sense because like for babies, everything is like, one, their brain is like a sponge and like you're helping create that foundation for them. So if you're creating a foundation of activity, of movement, like that's going to be their norm per se. I even think that would just like, even like speaking kind words into them, like after the baby's here, even when she's like a day old, I would be like, you are brilliant. Like you're just, I can't believe you're here. Like we're so lucky you're here. And like just speaking that constantly into her gives her this natural foundation of just like love and kindness that, you know, that'll be her norm.
Yeah.
Cause like, I think we talked about this on the last podcast, but like, I feel like a lot of like minority communities, they go through generational trauma. And so there's things you unlearn as like in your 30s and older. And I'm like, but I'm about to give this baby like just a foundation of just like calmness, peace, only people that love her around her. Like, and that's just going to be her norm. So yeah, I take all of that into it. Like I think activity too, because not just me, but like Zach will work out too. And so it's like, we're just going to be a family that moves. And that's just like normalized for the baby. She doesn't even know.
I would have loved it. Apparently it's more of a predictor of the mother's health is a better predictor of the child's health than the father's health to the mother or to the child.
Baby?
Yeah,
that makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, they're like literally in you.
Yeah, and they're more like influenced after they're born. They're more influenced by the mother's health status than they are the father's health status. And like, what an opportunity it would have been to have like my dad worked out all the time, but my mom did not at all. And so I still think like I'm lucky the fact that I enjoy it. But how cool it would have been, or like what would have been different if she was more active, right? It would have been cool.
Yeah, I wonder what would have happened.
Yeah, or my siblings that don't work out, right? I'm the only one of the 3 or the 4 of us that do. Would they have been more likely to be healthier?
Yeah. And honestly, I think, probably.
Right?
Probably. Because it's also just like, now we're going into like environment too. Like there's that genetic component, but also like you're seeing your mom work out too. And it's just like, this is what we do. So our environment is shaped this way. Yeah.
I think that this generation of moms is probably the best generation of moms.
I think so too. And I also like, I love seeing like this generation of moms just be aware of like, okay, this did not work for me when I was a kid. How can I make it different for my babies? Like, I'm very excited for kids in this next generation.
We have a lot of access to a lot of information, which I think that our parents didn't necessarily have, which is definitely beneficial. But there's also like, how do you not get stressed with all the information. You're supposed to know
yeah.
all of this stuff as a mom.
Yeah.
How do you like
Getting
choose?
supported by it
Yeah.
all. I know. That one's such a hard one because I feel like late so this year, like I've been really working on like my focus and attention on what matters, like and what doesn't bring me stress. But like if you're getting all this information about baby stuff and like I'm in PT, I know like all a decent chunk of the products out there, but even that, like for example, like we're doing our registry and Amazon will like give you lists of all these things. And even in just one category, like cribs or bouncers, there's like 5 million products. And I'm like, I'm going off of like what I've seen other families use or what I know works from like a PT perspective, I guess. But there's some things where I'm like, I don't know, like a pump, like a to breastfeed and get your milk out. I'm like, I don't know that. Or like feeding bottles. Like I'm not a feeding therapist. And luckily I have a friend who is a really great feeding therapist, so I can ask her. But like there's all these different bottles on the market. So how do you know it's gonna work for your baby?
I didn't know that there was different bottles.
Yeah, exactly. Do you see what I mean? Like, and like you only like learn this stuff after you're like, oh, I have to like buy this stuff now, and I want the baby to be able to eat well. But like even the bottles that are on the market, like if this ever is happening to you, Dr. Brown's apparently is a great brand that my speech therapist would always recommend. But I'm like, but your baby can still like not want that, and then you got to figure out, okay, like what else am I gonna give this baby?
This
Like,
still needs to eat.
it's yeah, and I need this baby to eat, and it's just like overwhelming how much there is. But then I also have to say, like when I work with babies, sometimes I'm like they're just happy to sit in a diaper box, like, and just like la di da, like you could buy all the toys in the world, and a lot of the babies I work with are just like la di in their diaper box, like with nothing in it. I'm like, yeah, babies are funny that way. So I feel like maybe the focusing on just decreasing your stress. So like if you're getting overwhelmed by all these different products, like make sure you're taking breaks and just like being like, I don't need to stress myself out about this. My baby's going to be okay. And like reminding yourself that. And like say I can't feed and I'm not able to get my baby to drink breast milk. Like there's lactation consultants. There's people I can like go talk to help me with that, which means I'll be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you plan on breastfeeding?
That's my goal for like, if I can do the first year, that'd be great. My husband's so funny where he's like, cause like if you breastfeed, it's like just mom and baby, right?
Yeah.
And Zach is like, but I want to feed the baby, and I want to be like he's like just as close as you are to the baby. Like
Yeah.
I want to be more close to the
Oh my
baby.
God.
Like I don't know if you can do that, Zach. You could try.
Let's there's a movie, Meet the Fockers, where what's his name wears like the suit that's like a boob and
That's hilarious.
he's a male that feeds what's the guy's name? I forgot the guy's or whatever.
Yeah.
So he feeds the baby. He's like, oh, this is beneficial because of whatever. And so I think like there are, I would imagine there's something out there that he could
Yeah. What
wear.
we'll do is like that's hilarious. Or we'll just like that's where you get the pumps, and then like we'll have like a little stash of breast milk, and then he can just do that. We're kind of going between doing that because I'm like, I feel like it's good bonding to just like breastfeed, but also it is good bonding to have that with the dad. And I'm very lucky where I'm so supported by my husband. This is another little side note, but I don't think people should have babies unless you're ridiculously supported by your husband. Like I've seen so many women that are just like, I'm taking on so much with my baby, and their husband could take on way more.
Yeah.
And they just, I don't know, for whatever reason they don't. So pick wisely. If you're gonna have a baby. Yes.
Choose wisely.
Yes.
I think that as like I know somebody who that their husband believes that they're supporting by producing income,
Okay.
right? And so, but not always is that what's necessary. Like, yes, income's needed, but also, could you change the diaper?
Yeah.
Like that would sometimes trump the extra $1,000 that you bring in. I would rather just you help me feed the child or change the diaper or, so like I think as men, we like try to turn up and like, I need to provide, but like sometimes providing a lot of times providing isn't necessarily have to be linked with finances. It can be linked with acts of service.
Yeah, totally. And just like even emotional support, because like after you have the baby, and again, I don't know this experience yet, but from what I hear, there's, this huge hormone drop that happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's probably why most people get postpartum depression or postpartum anxiety.
Yeah.
And to have a husband that's going to like just validate you and hear you and be like, oh my gosh, okay, like what, like not even what do you need, but like, I'm going to just go get you what you need because I know you so well.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much value in that. And I feel like also like in our society, like money is valued more than like those little acts of service that are like actually so needed. Like even just like do the dishes or like clean this apartment while I'm just like literally healing after I gave birth, like it's
major surgery.
Yeah, major surgery if you get the C-section. Yeah, exactly. So like, yeah, I feel like, but that's also where like women are just like not like the things that women do are taken for granted in so many ways, like caring for the baby, taking care of the household, if that's like the job they're in. There's obviously so many women who are working and everything too right now, which means actually no, now you're working and having the emotional burden. So yeah, that's where I'm like, no. We as women have to be like, I'm not marrying a man unless he can step up and also emotionally be there the way I can emotionally be there too. And that's also been really cool to see too, because I do see men stepping up in that way too, slowly. Like, and then
slowly.
Just I've also seen a lot of men that just like don't care, and I'm like, come on, guys, like we could do better. But then I'm also like, we as women should be picking better. Like we have a lot of power in choosing a partner who like we decide if they get to have a baby, really. And so
women are the gatekeepers in relationships.
Yes, and I don't think women like fully embody and realize that, because once you do, like honestly, a man has to step up. Otherwise, the woman's just like, okay, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
I really don't care. Like,
because it can be, I mean, you just need a seed, right? And just be, I mean, it could be any dude, and so like and
why
you decide.
be selective in that dude, and then again, if that dude's not willing to change, then like I don't need to put my body through this craziness. This is crazy. Like
for somebody that's not gonna.
Yeah, like what? That makes no sense to put your body through such change and not have that support.
Were you concerned at all about I forgot the actual term, but diabetes while you're pregnant is what is that called?
Gestational diabetes.
Gestational diabetes.
I'm currently concerned about this now because I forgot to say I didn't really have any cravings or food aversions, but lately my craving has been like McDonald's Coke.
Oh, it's the
so
sweetest
good.
Coke.
And yeah, I'm like, what are they doing to this? It's so good. And then orange juice, which is just all of it is straight
I
sugar.
love orange juice.
Yes, and so I loved orange juice growing up, and then like I haven't drank Coke or orange juice like for the last like 10 years. And then just in this little stint for a second trimester, I'm like, oh, this is the best thing ever. And now I'm like, they make you do this like glucose test where you drink like you drink a ton of glucose, I guess, and then a sugar, and then they see how your body handles it. And I'm like, oh my God, like what if I have gestational diabetes just off of how much Coke I'm drinking right now?
It's a thing.
It's totally a thing.
It's very common.
Yeah, and I think it's very common, but I know working out helps with that.
Yeah.
A bit, but probably your diet is going to matter more in that.
I've heard even like I had a client who's relatively thin, like healthy, developed gestational diabetes just because of like having the child, and like she was eating clean and everything, but just I don't know what happened with her hormones that ended up changing enough where she ended up developing and it was really hard for her to get out of diabetes. Like she had if you have gestational diabetes, you're more likely to keep that diabetes
Oh,
kind
I
of
didn't know that. I
exist
was hoping it would just go
afterwards.
away.
And unfortunately, not. It sometimes it does, but
Yeah.
it can linger.
Okay.
And she had a really hard time kind of getting back into
Wow.
just a normal life.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And I believe that because I think a lot of moms have told me it takes them like 4 to 5 years to kind of get back to their norm.
Damn.
I know. And I'm like,
Damn.
that's like a lot to ask a woman. Like to literally take her body through the 9 months of just being pregnant, then go through the birthing, whatever birth labor plan you go through, and then breastfeed or however you choose to feed the baby, but like doing that with your body. And then finally, like really getting back to what I don't even think you can get back to what you were before though, because
You
you're like
change.
forever changed.
Yeah.
But like just feeling really good again in your body. And then like, dude, I love Zach to death, but like I'm watching it, I'm like, there's no changes here, sir. Like your body is just like you're not affected by this at all.
Not at all.
Like physically.
0%.
Yeah, and I'm like, again, like I think being pregnant has really like just like I already knew systems weren't in place, but I'm like, wow, like really systems are not in place because I have a lot of support and I still feel like there's parts of this journey that's very isolating and lonely, even if you talk to other moms, because my body does something different than what someone else's body is going to do too. Yeah.
That's sad. That's hard.
It's hard, but now it's hard, but I'm also like, okay, for example, how can I make like my business, the Baby Bliss Collective, how can I make that a space so that moms can come in here and actually feel supported emotionally? Because clearly that's like not happening in our country fully. I have met a lot of cool mom groups here though. But I also noticed that like, it's again, it's still not systemic. Like it's like, okay, we are getting together as women, but now we're gonna go home and still like be stressed about our families and kids. And I'm like, I wish there's just systems where like we actually don't have to be stressed at all, and we're just like living peacefully and happily with our babies.
What kind of system would allow for that, do you think? Like what kind of things
Yeah.
would you like to see?
I would love to see just like I feel it starts individually. Like where a woman is just like, I am so stinking valuable that I'm not gonna worry about or over worry or feel overly guilty for something I'm not doing as a mom because I see another mom doing something. Like I feel like to me that would be a first start, like individually. Because I frankly I hate mom guilt. And like I'm gonna see what happens after I have the baby if I experience it. But like I'm like trying to actively like put things in place for myself where I don't want to experience that. I'm going to do the best I can with my baby, but like I don't think women like for so long of centuries women have been made to feel guilt and shame, and I'm like I don't want to do that to myself. If someone else is going to try to do that to me, whatever. But like I don't want to put myself there. So like starting off there. And then when you find other women who behave that way too, creating like I think it'd be cool to have like different community settings or like the postpartum retreat thing, like an actual like big just buildings of women and people who are focused only on women's health and women's emotional like well-being, especially like during and after having a baby. But I do really think it actually starts with like I as a woman deserve that versus like, oh no, I'm a mom and I'm going to take care of the house and I'm going to put myself into the stress like hormones by doing all these things constantly. Like I feel like that mental shift has to happen in our society too.
It's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's important.
Yeah.
Really, really important.
Yeah.
What is it like working? Or what are your expectations of yourself while working?
Yeah.
And pregnant?
I guess this is another systemic thing too. I'm like, there should be money funneled so that I don't have to work right now. This is crazy that I am working right now. And like, I mean, my also thought process is I just really value my body and I really value keeping my stress low so that the baby has less stress. Like that's something that's so important to me. And like work, like I'll always have work, but like this is not as important to me as like myself and my body and my baby. And so I personally, like, I don't really want to work. I'm working right now. I literally joke with Zach. I'm like, dude, if and when we have a second baby, like you need to be an attending doctor so that I don't have, I can sit at home and just like literally do what first trimester does to me because like
Yeah.
I don't think, and if you want to work, that's fine. But I think there should be some option of like, there's a pool of money. Because I know the government spends their money in different ways. Why aren't women valued enough that like there's a bucket of money that allows a woman to take off during pregnancy and the first year? There's other countries that function that way. Like 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 why? So that's how I feel about work. But I also understand we live in this society where like you're really forced to hustle. And I think probably that's why I picked like one, my husband and the support system I have, because I knew this was gonna be a lot, and I still didn't even comprehend how much it would be until I was actually pregnant. So yeah, I myself would prefer not to work and just only focus on my body and only focus on, like, healing and making sure my baby is not stressed. Um, yeah, because then I think it also, like, goes into, like, that first year of the baby's life. Like, if I can create security for that baby in that first year of life, then, like,
Like the most important.
the most important thing, and then it's gonna compound interest, so, like, when the baby's a teenager, they won't feel as insecure because I built security into them in their first year, but I can't do that if I'm working the whole time, you know? Like, there's a lot of moms that have to go back, like, after the 6 weeks. It's at 6 weeks is it's just not enough. Again, I saw my friend yesterday, her baby is 6 weeks. I think yesterday she was 6 weeks, and I'm like, this baby like, can't not have her mom right now. Like,
Yeah.
are you kidding me? They wanted to go back to residency? Like, this is so silly. So that's what I mean also too in the systems. Like the systems don't really care that that first year is so important. So they're not going to like give moms that money to do that.
But we know it's so important. Like
No,
it's pretty well researched and understood, I think, at this
no.
point. Like that first year is like the most like that will set that kid up for success
Yeah.
for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. I don't
So
I don't know why there's not those things in place. I think I don't know. I do see people really value that hustle culture a lot more. Like everyone's just in their own little grind.
yeah.
And so to systemically change a culture like that is going to take a lot.
I don't know that you I don't know. Like can you? I don't know. I really don't know if you can change the system that much. I mean,
No.
we're so like okay, so then let's say there's not the system that there's still this 6 weeks. I think in a lot of other cultures we're so close to our parents,
Mhm.
like vicinity wise
Yeah.
that okay you're back to work within the 6 weeks, but then you have a very strong foundation locally where now the grandparents are taking care of the kids, and so there's a lot of support there. We don't really live like that as much,
Yeah.
and so we're further away from our parents, and so then it's hard for them to come and help and take care of the kid, and so there's more stress on the mom to try to take care of the kid the entire time. I think
Yeah.
I don't know. If not the money, then is it the situation that we allow ourselves to be in? Like it's
That's
hard.
true. Because I've had multiple friends where it's just them, like
Yeah.
mom and dad taking care of the baby. And I literally be like, give me the baby if you need help. Because, like, yeah, you know, the saying of like, it takes a village to raise a baby. Like, it really, really does. And that's how I grew up too. Like, we call her my grandma, but we call her Amachi. She lived with us when we were growing up. And then mom and dad would work. And then she'd take care of us all the time. But just like you said, like, my parents are in Michigan, Zach's are in Seattle. And like again, we're really fortunate. We're like Zach's mom is like, I'm just gonna fly here as often as possible. And then my mom too, like she works like a virtual job. So she's offered like if I need to stay for up to a month, I can and just I would work virtually. Like, but that's like I feel like that's privilege and very lucky.
Luxury.
Yeah, it's kind of a luxury, which it shouldn't
It shouldn't.
be, but yeah, I don't know, because you're right. I feel like the way that we're going in our society is like it's too individual in that way, and that also is going to mess with kids
Mm-hmm.
because you need like we're just human, like we need social, you know, interaction.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I like the way my mind naturally goes to like we need facilities where like communities of women and families are taking
Yeah.
care of each other, but I haven't seen that happen a ton.
No.
Yeah.
You said that and it made me think about men's. There's a lot of men's health clinics a lot.
Okay, yeah.
Everywhere, right? Men's like they're
And what do they do at men's health clinics?
men's health clinics typically are meant for like hormone therapy. That's really their
Okay.
big jam. So
Yeah.
like it's usually like an MD who's or even I think Chiros can become they can in Chiro school you can also get an NP license, like you can do both at the same time. A lot of schools will offer that, and so they become an NP as well, and then they start prescribing testosterone and stuff like that. And so they're doing like hormone therapy, but it's kind of like not always the best because
Yeah.
they're not always the most educated. But it's a lot of revenue, it's a lot of cash, and so but it's a place for and then some organizations will end up making it more like we also host therapy and because men are there's I think 80% of all suicides are men, and so like we want to take care of the mental health of men as well, and so some organizations will end up leaning towards having like group conversations and stuff like that. I wonder if I don't know. Is there a women's health clinic like, outside of an OBGYN? Like, are there female health clinics that are like that? Because even there's so much hormone change that happens in pregnancy. I think and in perimenopause. And now we're seeing there's more benefit for ladies to even start taking hormone therapy during those times. Right. Are there a lot of those resources or not? I don't know.
I feel like I haven't looked into it, so I don't know. But I feel like if there's men's health clinics like that, theoretically there should be women's.
Right.
I do feel like a lot of the information I've been getting has been through, like for example, there's this physical therapist that I'm friends with. Her name's Dr. Kelsey with the Mobility Project, and then Dr. Justine, I think her business is Chiro Mamas, and they made this thing called Coffee and Childbirth, and it's like an event they put together. It's not a clinic. They're individual providers that help moms, but it's not like a whole clinic to help with hormone therapy. I'm sure there's something out there, but it's interesting to me. I was going to ask how often are men using the men's health clinics? Because I feel like the women's stuff that I've been a part of, have been more like individual providers creating these community events. Yeah.
I would say I don't personally go to any men's health clinics, but from what I can see on the outside perspective, when I'm thinking about IE Health and when we're trying to identify potential sources of revenue, we look at men's health clinics to say, because there's so many of them, like we can help train that individual because maybe they're out of shape and so they're taking testosterone, make themselves feel better, and maybe they're a high performer that is in business and they're feeling like they're coming on down because their testosterone's lower, and so like how can we help support that individual? So there's so many of them.
Like nothing is coming up in my brain. I'm like, and now I'm like, wait, do I like not know enough about that? But then also maybe not. I can't say for sure either way because I don't know. But now I'm kind of mad. There's no women's health clinic. Like you have. I don't know. Like, for example, my OBGYN practice, but that's very specific to OBGYN. Again, it's a provider.
Yeah.
They're providing all their services, but I don't know. I'll go home and look that up too, but I'd be really kind of sad if that wasn't a thing.
Because I would imagine that NPs, if I'm going to make the relation to men's health clinics, because there's a lot of like men's NPs that end up just going out and doing that. Like Cenegenics is a really big men's health organization. It's nationwide. The NPs that I know that are women end up getting into more like the cosmetic stuff of injections and stuff like that. But I would imagine that there's programs in NP school that are hormone therapy or OBGYN so then now you can have your own organization that does provide that service.
I'm sure there is. I just haven't looked into
Same. I mean, I hope there is.
I hope there is.
Yeah.
And now I'm like curious. I'm going to look into it when we're done here too. But like, because I know that's becoming more of a, like, I feel like there's been some research that came out recently of like you said, hormone therapy helping during perimenopause, and it's not actually going to hurt you. I think there was some time where they were worried that hormone therapy was going to hurt women, and they're like, actually, no.
Massively beneficial.
Yeah. And so they're just, I mean, they're obviously figuring out women's health a lot more. I think 1993 is when they started enforcing that women be studied. Which, like, that's when I was born.
That's crazy.
Like, yeah, well, like, what?
Yeah.
Like, that's so recent.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, maybe that's part of it too. But I don't want to say there's no, I just can't believe there's no women's health clinics. There has to be
There has to
something, and
be,
I just
right.
don't know about it.
I think it's
so crazy. To me.
insane that only since 1993. And,
I
you know,
know.
a lot of research studies that exist in we refer to, like with cholesterol or with hormones, and they're all like, I mean, there's huge studies that have a lot of funding, and they're from the 60s. And if you look at all the people that in the study, they're all men.
Yeah.
And then we never and then we just come with the conclusion that this is how the body reacts to this is a physiological process given this situation. And you're like,
makes
well,
no sense. Like,
actually, it's much more complex than that.
yeah, so much more complex for women with their their cycles alone and the changes in hormones. And like, even just like, I don't even need a study to tell me that. Like, I'm watching Zach and I'm watching myself. Like, you can't use a male study to study what's happening here. I think they were also so scared to study like pregnant people or women in a range of the having the ability to get pregnant, that they just like stopped, which is silly. But
Just silly.
yeah, but they are. I do think they're doing more now, and I do think like women are so powerful where they're like, we only had like. We don't have that much time, but we've made a lot of progress in trying to understand ourselves more in like the last 20 to 50 years. And I just find that whole thing impressive too. And so, yeah, hopefully we just get more research out there, or just women weren't allowed to care for themselves. They were told like, no, what you think doesn't matter, or what you want to focus on doesn't matter. And only now are we like allowed to do that. Like even in my mom's generation wasn't allowed to do that. Like I am the first generation to be able to do that. So a lot of change is gonna happen in the next 2 generations at least.
Oh
Yeah.
Last couple questions and then we'll head out. How do you choose an OBGYN, and then what are you either looking forward to or fearful of for a third trimester?
Yeah. My process of choosing an OBGYN was funny because my husband, like I said, is a resident. So we asked like his residency friends who have had babies who they liked. And then like my husband also like went to like Summerlin Hospital, talked to the nurses in the OBGYN floor, and was like, if you were going to have a baby, who would you go with? So we found a couple and we kind of like shopped a little bit around. And it was interesting because the first one I did, she just like did not listen to me or validate me, which was interesting. Because like I'm a pelvic floor, or not pelvic floor, I'm a pediatric PT. I'm learning a little bit about pelvic floor, and I was like, wait, like there's so many different ways you could give birth. Like, how would you help support me do that? And like every single question I asked was like almost like a why are you asking me that, like defensive kind of answer. And so that happened. I was like, I can't give birth with someone that can't like answer my questions. Then we went to a second person. I think it just honestly depends on yourself, because I like efficiency, but also like being personable. And so the second OBGYN, she's smaller than me and she had twins, and everything I kept asking, she was like, yeah, let's do it. Like you can have epidural and go on your hands and knees. We're just going to have the nurses do stuff. Like every question, she had an answer, and it was personable and efficient. And I was like, yes, that's it.
Nice.
But it depends on the person. Like if you like someone that like talks a lot and goes really long down long-winded context roads, you're going to want to find a doctor like that, right? So I would say try to know yourself first and like what your needs are, and then find someone similar who's an OBGYN. Or, I mean, a lot of people do midwives, doulas. Yeah, so there's other options there too. Yeah.
I think a big point is that you're allowed to shop around.
Yeah.
Advocate for yourself inside in the medical system.
Yeah, and know yourself, like what you need. Because like I'm sure that first doctor I went to would have been fine for someone else, but I was just getting annoyed. I'm like, you need to tell me the answers right now. And that's like my own personality, right? And so already you're going through so much as a pregnant person. If you can know what you need and then just match that in your OBGYN's personality, I think that'll help you a lot. Yeah.
And then
the trimester question.
Trimester.
Yeah. dude, I'm scared to like get so much bigger. I'm like, how I know I'm not super big right now,
Yeah.
but I am used to being small and being active and easily moving. Like this is not my body.
Yeah.
This is not my body right now. This is the baby's body, and I'm just like holding her right now. And so I'm a little scared of like, how am I gonna get any bigger? I am excited to do birth classes and just learn more about my body that way. I think that's gonna be so good. I have another friend. Her name is Tina Bhakta. She's a pelvic floor OT. Her business is, I think it's Back to Basics. But if you look up Tina Bhakta, she's great and wonderful. And so she's going to do a birth prep session with me. And I think that's going to be so helpful to learn too. So I feel like this third trimester is like, we're getting ready for this baby to come.
Yeah.
Or like the whole nesting thing is happening. Where like we just built the crib yesterday. And
Cute.
just that transition is happening now. So yeah. But
Awesome.
the biggest fear is like, how am I going to like be alive with a big belly? Like I don't get how I'm supposed to do that.
So when is expected due date?
Yeah.
We're in January.
April 29th.
April 29th.
So 3 more months.
Okay.
It's going to come by so fast.
It's going to come by very fast.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I can't wait to have sushi afterward.
Yeah.
It's going to be so good.
Sushi, wine, you can...
Sushi, like a smoked salmon bagel. I'm like, why didn't I prepare for that stuff? If you're trying to get pregnant, like make sure you eat all these foods you can't eat before as much as possible.
I like it. I like it.
So funny.
Awesome. Well, anything else you'd like to leave us off with?
No, I just think, actually, just one thing. Like women, like if you really believe in yourself and focus on the things you want to focus on, life will just like work out around you. So that way you don't have to be as stressed as possible, or you don't have to be as stressed during pregnancy and after the baby comes if you focus on yourself. Like I feel like I just want all women to know that. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I always love coming on here.
This is fun. I always enjoy talking to you. So we will do hopefully another episode here in a couple months, and we'll talk about what it's like post.
Amazing. Oh my God. That's
Cool.
crazy. I like can't even like imagine it just yet because I'm like this baby's actually coming out at some point.
It's coming. It's coming.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank y'all. Love you. Bye-bye.